Welcome to our channel, Disastrous, where we cover some of the most elusive mysteries out there that involve terrifying, horrific events and accidents. On April 15th, 2004, Beverley Williams was having a normal day. She was resting at home in the charming town of Pontypool in West Wales. She was taking it easy and she was feeling a little ill. Little did she know that her world is about to be flipped upside down, and everything will change forever in a rather disturbing way. At around 4 p.m, the sound of a knock on the door gave her chills, for it was an unfamiliar, loud bang. She opened the door and felt immediately shocked. The policeman at the door looked at her with pity, but kept it formal, and did not disclose the reasons for their arrival. They simply informed her that there was an accident and that she must head to the Haverfordwest Hospital immediately. Deep inside, she knew that something bad had happened, but her mind rejected the idea and simply presumed a loved one was involved in a minor accident. As she drove, she passed through a town called Bethlehem, and for some reason it was there that she realized that her daughter was dead. Yet she kept calm and composed, for she still had hope that she might be wrong. But mothers always know if a connection with a child is severed. They would feel it, even if they were a million miles away. As soon as she arrived at the hospital, her daughter Hannah ran to her and said, "She's okay, don't worry." These words from her innocent younger daughter made her feel rather uncomfortable relief, for she knew that if that was the case, the police officers would have told her when they arrived at her door. Her heart almost stopped as an approaching doctor gently asked her to sit down. Her words simply came out of her mouth as if her soul was uttering them in disbelief. "If you're going to tell me what I think you're going to tell me, please don't." At that moment, the world and time stopped. She no longer processed anything nor could remember what happened next. Her 16-year-old daughter Hayley was dead. The news hit her family and the community quite hard. Hayley was an angel who was a good singer with a goal of teaching music. In fact, she was already teaching music to kids and had a habit of cheering lonely senior citizens with her beautiful voice. We all love theme parks, but they're not supposed to kill or injure us. Like many of the best theme parks in the world, the Oakwood theme park was a great place for the young and young at heart. Hayley loved that place and often frequented it with her parents, siblings, and friends. Like most of us, she found it to be a happy place. It made her feel as if she was in a different realm filled with positivity and excitement. Since her childhood, she spent plenty of time exploring all the old and new toys and rides the park offered. She enjoyed the positive ambience, the sounds, and even the smell of cheer and joy that filled the place. Rollercoasters are often the flagship of theme parks. They're always the most sought-after rides in the park, even though they are semi-dangerous. But people always find that the adrenaline rush is totally worth it. Hayley never saw nor expected what was coming her way. She never even suspected that her favorite place in the world would send her to her demise in a horrendous tragedy. The Oakwood theme park is the biggest in the whole of Wales, an awesome place that offers endless experiences and magical adventures that fuel adrenaline. By all means, it is very thrilling and exciting. Based in the heart of Pembrokeshire in South Wales, the Oakwood theme park boasts endless fun for the whole family and even toddler-friendly rides. It prides itself in providing a safe environment for employees and guests alike. However, sometimes even the greatest preventive measures cannot stop the catastrophe in which Hayley died. On April 15th, 2004, Hayley Williams was supposed to go along with her mother and a group of friends to a nearby theme park for a playful afternoon. However, her mother was feeling slightly off and told her that she will skip this time. Concerned for her mother, Hayley told her to spend the day resting and she wouldn't be long. She even told her that as soon as she comes back, she will make some tea. And off she went, along with her sister Hannah and 6 other friends to the Oakwood theme park. With big smiles on their faces, they giggled their way through crowds and bought tickets for the famous Hydro roller coaster. She was as usual excited and happy. Little did she know that she was about to experience something horrific and terrifying. The group decided to leave the hydro ride for last because part of the ride included hitting the water as part of the excitement, and, of course, spending a whole afternoon semi-wet was not on their agenda. So, they went to check some of the other rides and attractions. They had no idea that they were slowly edging closer toward a certain deadly disaster. Finally, they had enough of the other toys and headed for the massive adrenaline rush. They stood and watched in awe as the majestic hydro ride carriage zipped about at extremely high speed, high up and then down to slice through the slightly submerged part of the tracks at the very bottom. Soon enough, their turn arrived. Hayley got on the ride with another 22 passengers, and even though it was not her first time, she did not seem to notice anything wrong. She simply did not complain about any issues. However, everything was wrong, because her seat safety bar was malfunctioning, and there was no way that she could know. Everything seemed okay and in its place, as she strapped herself down with the seat bar, which is designed to be tight and automatically locked. The ride's carriage began to move, and everything at first appeared okay. And it was fun, and everyone was making their own sounds of excitement from the speed and adrenaline rush. She and her friends were even chanting as the carriage ascended to its highest point, about 100 feet off the ground, after which it makes a fast right turn just before performing a sharp 85 degrees descent into the partially submerged tracks, part of the rollercoaster ride. Hayley's friend Elizabeth Humphreys was sitting right next to her and looked at her during the first turn, but in a split second, Hayley disappeared from the seat, as if she vanished from existence. Elizabeth Humphreys turned her face again towards Hayley but did not find her, and began to scream in madness, along with some of the other passengers who saw the horrific incident, but it was too late, and the carriage made the sharp descent from about 100 feet high to the ground, as the screams were turning into tears of horror. It was too late, and Hayley was simply gone, thrown violently into the air and towards the shallow lagoon at the bottom. For some reasons that have yet to be solved, her seat safety bar mechanism failed her, and simply did not withstand the speed and violent turns of the carriage. So it gave her up in a terrifying scene, similar to throwing someone out of a fast plane's door. The fall was violent. She simply did not have a chance. The lagoon's waters were very shallow and did not cushion her fall, which equals to falling from the top of a 9-story high building. Richard Sexton was one of the first people to see Hayley fall. He rushed into the water to pull Hayley out. Former fireman Peter Hawkins was also at the scene and helped pull her out of the water and started resuscitation, while his wife Nicola, an intensive care nurse, carried on CPR. She instantly died from violent internal fractures and major concussions. She was pulled from the water and taken to Withybush Hospital, but was pronounced dead from unsurvivable internal injuries and fractures. According to Hayley's sister Hannah, before the ride took off, Hayley's seat bar did not lock the first time, and no one paid attention. There were simply no manual security checks for all the seats' belts before taking off. 24-year-old Gareth Etches, who was the supervisor in charge at the time of the incident, explains during a later court hearing that he was given merely 20 minutes of training on the hydro ride. The day of the incident was also his first day working at this particular ride. He said in court that he was never trained on matters related to passenger safety. There was a similar accident in the USA in 2001 that also involved an almost identical ride, which was made by the same Swiss manufacturer. Laurie Mason-Lares, 40, slipped from both the seatbelt and the lap bar on the perilous plunge ride and died. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell button to get notified every time we upload a new video that will take you to the heart of the scenes and mysteries of some of the most terrifying incidents, accidents, disasters, and paranormal events from around the world.